This is Five and Friends. Five friends, five perspectives, all five. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode, everyone. My name is Zan. Don't ask why, just put it I. And with me is Amna and Samra.
Hello.
Hello and hello.
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 How y'all doing?
It is
Go ahead, Anna.
snow day.
Yeah.
Snow day.
It is a pretty massive snow day today. Pretty massive. Really
Yeah,
massive.
it was bad. But, snow days, I guess, when you're young is amazing. And this would have been an amazing day when you're young. But when you're older, it literally is just a work from home day. And yeah, maybe you're not working as much. Some people may not work as much as they do when they work from home. And some people, work just as much. I felt like
Yeah, you still feel like you need to be productive when you're older. Like you can't just like do nothing as much, and if you do nothing, you kind of are like ashamed of yourself. You're like, what have I done
right.
with my life?
I didn't do anything. I called off from work because I knew it was going to get worse. From at least with when I was reading the forecast, it was going to be like, oh, at 9 a.m. is going to be terrible. That's when the brunt of it.
So they didn't cancel your work?
They didn't cancel it, and I was really surprised because one of my coworkers, she comes from Westchester County, near where Sabina lives, kind of around that area, and I'm almost like, damn, you're gonna commute 2.5 hours by train to get to work, and she's like, yeah, let's see what happens with the buses, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stay home.
So you've done nothing all day?
Nothing. What?
Do you have the option to work from home?
I usually do, but not in this case. The thing that I've been working on at work requires me to be at work. But I saw the weather outside, and then seeing cars slip in front of me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to call off. And then, it was good, though. It was fine, because, my boss was like, oh, no, it's fine. Stay safe. I would rather have you, stay home if you can't do it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, that's
thank
nice.
you. I was like, nice.
How was your boss? Would be like, fired.
Yeah, right.
Fired.
I don't know. He was like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's. You're underestimating how bad it really is, because it got terrible during the day.
No, it was bad, but it was not as bad here as it was where Summer was. You guys got Mom said 8 inches.
Okay, Mom's also no. We didn't get 18 inches. However,
no, 8
inches. Maybe 8 inches. We definitely got. We probably are close to a foot.
Yeah, we got 3.
Yeah, that's nothing. We got close to a foot of snow. It's still
Wait, where are you, Lana?
Westchester.
I see.
Anyway,
yeah. I got I got 4 to 5 inches, which is kind of weird.
It's weird. I feel like we were in a pocket, but like we were saying, it just feels like it's not as fun because when you get to sleep in as a kid. And you don't have to go to school, and you just watch TV all day. And now it's well, maybe for you, Zan, that's what you did. But
that's what I did. But in hindsight, though, I should have gone if everyone was there, because this is one less day without money. So.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Well, that and for me, I feel bad if I don't do productive things because our work, we have 24/7, workers. And if they have to go in, I don't want them to be oh, well, our boss didn't go in. So I like to always keep up with work, do lots of phone calls. I had, a couple of meetings. So.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I did a lot of stuff too. I did a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you guys overhear people, it's because I'm not at my usual recording thing, so people are yelling and screaming behind me. But it's all good because it's all wholesome.
It's all good.
How was your all's New Year's?
Pretty good. We
spent New Year's together, so.
Yeah. I mean, besides
Yeah,
That was a
that,
dumb
New
question.
Year's was not bad. We didn't do too much, but
What are you talking
yeah.
about? We actually went out to the city and we spent New Year's in Times Square.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
We watched the people in Times Square and we were like, we are not jealous at
no,
all because it
it
was
was freezing
freezing.
cold.
And I'm like, y'all think you're having the time of your life, but guess what?
Yo,
You're
can I
not.
be honest? Can I be honest here?
Okay, yeah,
Who
go
else
for
is
it.
sick and tired of New Year's Eve at this point? If it's just me, like, does anyone really care it's New Year's Eve anymore, or do they care about the ball dropping
I
at
mean,
this point?
clearly, millions of people do. I mean, did you not see?
No, I know, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, it's just like like, remember when New Year's Eve used to be a huge thing, but now it just feels like it's just another day.
It's because we're old and we're becoming jaded
That
and things are losing their preciousness, except Halloween and Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah.
that and
Well,
How
Halloween.
depressing is this podcast?
Wow, this sucks. Everything sucks, and we'll die in the end of the night.
In the end of the night.
In the end of the
well, I
night.
hope not the end of the night.
How does the quote go? Oh, life sucks, and then you'll die. That's the quote.
Well, that's somewhat true.
Yeah.
So,
Awkward. That's not true.
That's not true. It is true, but it's not true in that sense.
I mean, not at the end. Yeah, no. I mean,
At the end
no.
of the night.
Summer, you are with our mother
Yes,
right
I
now.
am.
And is it making you remember? Is it giving you flashbacks to when you were younger?
Being right now, yes and no. Um, a little bit. It's always nice to have someone have food ready and, you know, things like that. And
That's nice.
Wait. Are we segueing?
Yeah, I was trying to segue, but Summer kind of didn't help me with it.
So let me pick up the paces because I want to talk about something before we do.
Oh, okay.
Because I have that huge thing that you kind of read my notes.
Yeah, I was like, "What is this?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, it's right in front of me, Zan."
So for the listeners, a peek behind the curtain. We tried to record last week, or not last week. It was 2 weeks ago when we had that really fail of an episode where I kind of called it off midway through because of my dumb articles.
last week.
His articles were terrible.
Wait, was it?
And you went
last
on
week or
for
the
like
week
20 minutes. It was a week before.
I felt like, I don't know. But point is, though, right? I came back, and I mean, no one heard it. Obviously, we cut that out. We redid the episode, so no one has heard that part. But I came back this week with a better article, and I feel like you guys will probably find this a little interesting at this point.
Let's see if we react.
A little interesting.
Let's see if we actually react this time and not leave you in the dust.
Just like, nice, yeah. No, because it was one of those articles when I read it, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting for your point of views to hear this, right? So, okay, I'm going to just read the article, right? So it goes, when he cut off his right arm with a very sharp power tool, a man who now calls himself One Hand Jason let everyone believe it was an accident. He had for months tried different means of cutting and crushing the limb that never quite felt like his own, training himself on first aid so he wouldn't bleed to death, even practicing on animal parts sourced from a butcher.
What?
My goal, he says, was to get the job done with no hope of reconstruction or reattachment, and I wanted some method that I could actually bring myself to do. His goal was to become disabled. People like Jason have been classified as transabled, feeling like imposters in their bodies, their arms and legs in full working order. Quote, we define transability as the desire or the need for a person identified as able-bodied by other people to transform his or her body to obtain a physical impairment. The person could want to become deaf, blind, amputee, paraplegic. It's a really, really strong desire. Most of them are men. About half are in Germany and Switzerland. But the doctor that's been quoted in this article, he knows a few in Canada as well. Most of these people crave an amputation or paralysis, though he has interviewed one person who wants his nether region removed as well.
Okay, well, that's not as...
No.
Okay.
Many people, like One Hand Jason, arranges accidents to help achieve this goal. One drops an incredibly heavy concrete block on his legs and attempt to injure himself so bad that an amputation would be necessary. But doctors save the leg. He limps, but not it's. Sorry, I just butchered that entire last sentence. Basically saying that the doctors would save the leg, but he continues to injure that leg so he can get himself amputated.
So, okay.
All right, go on.
So, my wonder is, if someone really wants to be amputated, can't they ask, or is that like not a thing? Like, I feel like it's causing harm to your patient, and so you're not allowed to, as a doctor, do that. But if someone's going to hurt themselves over and over and like potentially cause infection and death, then wouldn't you want to do it in a safe way? You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, ideally, but I mean, would you? I mean, Amina, you're going to the medical field. Would
God,
you?
Inshallah.
I'm saying, if someone came up to you being like, "Hey, I want to get my arm cut off," would you do it?
Oh, okay. First of all, I cannot answer this as if I am a medical professional, because I am not. And two, let's say someone just came in randomly and was like, "Hey, I want to get my arm cut off." It's like, obviously, no. And like, you'd want to do psych evals and make sure they don't, want to hurt themselves, which I guess they are. But then, if they came in like plenty of times, with injuries to that very arm,
yeah,
and like causing, like, if you make bone fragments and it isn't healing right and everything, it causes disfiguration and just like all these bad problems, then at a certain point, when you be like, "Oh, Jesus, okay, I'll do this." Or is it against guidelines, like, where you're like, no matter what, I cannot do this for you?
Yeah, I mean, just you personally, or you guys personally. Like, if you guys happen to say be a doctor, would you would you perform that surgery if you had the ability to? I mean, I wouldn't. I would just be like, "No, dude, you're crazy." Why? What are you doing? Why do you want to intentionally be deaf and blind? But then I guess in the same time, their argument would be like, "It's my body. I can do whatever you want."
Well, yeah, you have the autonomy to do what you want to your body, I guess, right?
But like, I don't know. It's just kind of strange. Why would you want to? But let me finish this article. It's just really quick. It goes, the transabled man. Oh no, sorry. The transabled are very secretive and often keep their desires to themselves. Baldwin, the doctor, says one 78-year-old man told him that he lived with the secret for 60 years and never told his wife. Some of his study's participants do draw parallels to the experience many transgender people express of not feeling like they're in the right body. Baldwin, the doctor, says the disorder is starting to be thought of as a neurological problem with the body's mapping rather than a mental illness. So it's kind of interesting how they're just like, "Oh yeah, like, I don't feel right in this body, so I feel like I want to lose my arm." I mean,
I'm gonna just put it into.
We can't relate to that.
Just
but
one sentence. This entire article is just straight nutso in the butso.
This was reported in a very high-end website in Canada. I was going to say cartel. It's not Cartel Canada.
I just, like, my whole thing is, like, look, if you're going to, like, for people who are trans, they experience body dysmorphia, right? Hold on 1 second. What's up?
That's a beautiful day.
Yeah. What's up?
I need to eat some food right now.
Okay, well, can you give me some time and I'll come out? Can you close the door? Thank you so much. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. Sorry. That's what I meant.
Nice.
I don't know what I was saying.
Transgender.
Okay, so like being trans, it's like you experience body dysmorphia, right? And you don't feel like you belong, like you're not the gender you were assigned and everything, and I feel like that, I don't feel like it's mentally, like, I can understand someone not understand it, but I think it's plausible that there are people who feel like certain things don't belong on their bodies. You know what I'm trying to say? Like when you read like articles about like, think about people who have who are arsonists or people who want to like gouge people's eyes out. That's like, it's like an innate, like it like digs into them. So it probably is like they really have like this itching desire to cut their limbs off. That being said, like, do you let them because it's their own body, or do you be like, no, you need to, like, we need to figure, I mean, what can you do? You can't like medicate them. Like you can't medicate someone for that. Well, and that sounds like, I feel like it's like wrong almost. I don't know.
Yes, I just don't know. I think, I don't know if you can like compare, wanting your your limbs cut off or some part of you cut off.
Your knee.
I meant limbs.
I know.
To like, being transgendered or something, maybe to, I don't know. But
this would have been a perfect Halloween article. This would have been great for that. But yeah, it just came out recently.
No, it's an interesting article. I don't know. Like, it's like, I feel like it's one of those things where at first you're like, well, that's crazy. And then you like think about it and you're like, okay, well, what if like someone really feels like they have like this overwhelming urge, this like itch almost, and they can't like get rid of it. Yeah. And what do you say to that? And then it's like, yeah, there's a problem there, but like, what do? You can't treat that. You can't, like, there's no therapy for that. It's like, do you cut it off? And then what if you cut it off and then like the itch doesn't go away, like phantom limb, like it's still there? Then there's nothing. Then they're like suffering.
Yeah, it reminds me of the that movie, the James Franco 127 hours or whatever.
Oh God, but that
how it was just like,
it was like a life or death situation.
Yeah. I mean, I bring that like because it's kind of interesting. Like for him, he had to do it, and that's what he lived with, and I don't know. It's just so strange that like, I mean, I guess strange. I keep saying it's strange, but like I guess it kind of makes sense if someone. Like what Amino was saying, it kind of makes sense if they just want to do it. But that's why it goes in the article saying that some of these people do it themselves because clearly doctors wouldn't do it. Some doctors don't do it for them. So that's why they like, especially the guy, this one hand Jason, he does it for himself. Like he trained himself on first aid. He figured out what to do and what not to do when he's crushing his own limb. And that's what he did. And he's and there's a video on this. It's on this article too. There's a video of the guy talking.
I'm
it's
not watching this video.
And we'll,
it's not like him
if anyone wants to
like him doing it.
No, it's not like him doing it. Yeah. Just.
I mean, he shouldn't be blasting this, but I don't know.
Well, again, it's like I feel like it's so different if it's like, I don't know, how do you stop it if it's like an overwhelming urge? I guess you just really want to do that, like. I don't know. It's kind of disturbing.
Kind of. More like very.
It's very disturbing.
I'm just surprised that it's a thing. I'm surprised that it's actually a thing. But at the same time, I'm not surprised.
Human beings are so weird. Okay, like I'm not surprised that it's a thing. Like sometimes our urges, like you don't even understand. Like we can't even scratch the surface of people's urges.
Yeah, like
very
the urge
creepy.
The urge of our moms hitting us. When we do something wrong.
That sounds abusive.
Do you like that segue? You like that segue? Do you like that segue? That was a good segue, right?
Terrible segue. It's a terrible segue.
That does lead us into our official topic of the night. Zan, interesting article.
Yeah.
I feel very
I came back fighting
chilly about it though. I don't really like it.
I feel chilly about it.
I feel chilly. But
no.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about basically growing up
in a desi house.
Yeah, because it's it's 2018. We're a year older at this point. We're all going to be a year older.
A year older.
I still have
Well,
9
we
more
will be a
months
year
before
older.
I'm a year older. So let's like keep that to yourself.
Oh.
I mean, I still technically still have 6 months too, but
You don't have 6 months.
I have
But
like 2 weeks.
5 months. 5 months.
You have 8 months, Sam. My God.
Oh wow, my math is really off. I'm looking at the wrong number.
Yeah, that's like really
Wow.
bad.
I looked at the time. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I looked at the time instead of the date on my computer, and I'm like, oh yeah, I only have 5 months.
God. I don't even know
That is so
how you got
dumb.
5 months from the date on your
From even the time, how did you get 5 months?
I don't know. My brain. Okay, so it's 6:10 right now, right? For some reason, my brain thought that's my birthday. As we were
but then you
talking
only
about
have
this,
2 months
my brain went
for
bleh,
that
bleh.
time. So I don't.
Sam,
My-
you just
my
like had a
brain-
birth heart.
I think I just had a injury to my head right now. What happened
That's
there?
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean we more like we're a new year and a new outlook of or hopefully new resolutions. However, we do miss our old life, a life
Yeah.
that at the time seemed complicated.
As teenagers, so much angst.
The good old days.
I agree.
Right?
Well, we wanted to talk about it because I think every desi kid went through basically the same thing. These are like staple things every desi teen went through growing up here with their parents.
Or maybe they're not so staple for you guys and you guys had your own things. So if you guys hear us talk about something that didn't really happen to you or that you felt was that, that's more staple items of what happened growing up, then please, let us know.
Hit us in the DM.
Yeah, unless it's like really
Grotesque.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to know about abuse. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
That was like a car slamming into a brick wall. Right there.
Well, it does lead into one thing that we want to talk about with today's topic, and that's discipline.
discipline. Okay, so discipline. Okay, well, are we talking about as children? Because it changed.
It changes as you grow older. So as little kids, of course, the discipline wasn't that harsh. I think that for us, it was like, yeah, we'd get yelled at, but that was the bulk of it. We didn't get grounded. We didn't get things taken away.
No time.
There was no such thing as timeout. We would just get yelled at, and
we would just get yelled at in front of people.
Yeah,
that's
was
like
basically complete enough.
It was, and as teenagers, it.
Well, I think there was a certain age where maybe a little bit of physical discipline was done.
With a shoe.
Physics.
Or a spoon.
Spatula.
Wooden
spoon.
Wooden spatula.
I know
with
that
a towel whipped to your bum.
Yep.
A towel? Wait, you said a towel whipped to your bum?
I don't think that ever happened.
Yeah, like clothes, like being hit with clothes.
Well, that clearly never happened to me.
Summer, you never got hit.
I got lots of chantas.
Chantas. Chantas mean like slap.
I got lots of them. Not from Dad, maybe.
Dad didn't really hit you and I.
What was your mom's go-to weapon?
Her hand.
Her hand. Whatever. She just went for your. But she never wanted to hurt you, because if you got hurt, I remember like if it hurt, she'd feel bad. She'd be like,
Not my mom.
Like, no, if it hurt or if it like left a mark, not like she would bruise us. She would never hit us that hard. But if it was like an accident, she would be like, she'd feel really sad. Like she didn't want to hurt us. She just wanted us to like be scared, which is really terrible, honestly. But then we weren't scared.
But we were bad, clearly.
We would like taunt her.
People are gonna be like, "Sorry, guys, I have like a minor cough going." People might be like, "Oh, that's abusive." I never thought of it as abuse, because
I feel like every brown person, including not desi brown people, know this feeling. Like my friend who's Brazilian is like, yeah, no, Same thing happened. But I never tell my white friends because they're like, you got hit. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't get hit. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'd have to be a complete asshole to my mom for her to raise her hand at me, and it would be at my butt. Or, you know, like, it wouldn't be at my face. Like, I wouldn't get slapped in the face. If anything, like, you guys we slapped each other in the face more.
And, like, to be honest, like, when white people are like, oh, that's abuse, it's like, no, you talking to your parents disrespectfully is abuse. Like,
to your parents.
Yeah, like, that's abuse. I don't know how you're allowed to get away with the stuff you guys get away with.
There's so many times where, like, I've been over white friends' houses and they're like, whatever, mom, shut up. And I literally, like, my butt clenches. Because I'm like, if I said that to my mom, like, that would be it.
That actually also leads into, like, heightened senses, like hearing and seeing, because you would be, if you were in an argument with your parents and you just went, oh God, or like, oh, like, even just like going, just like you wanted to stop, they would like walk back in from like 100 feet away and be like, yeah, what did you say? What did you say? And you're like, how did you hear me?
You're like, I heard that. And you're like, how did you hear it? I said it in my brain. Like,
you're like, I don't understand.
There were so many times where I'm like, oh, you're so annoying. And I would say it under my breath. I'm like, huh, man, who annoying? And she would, I am annoying, huh? And it'd be terrible. Like I'm in major trouble.
No, it'd be bad. One time I went like, like, oh God, to mom, and she literally almost like literally, I thought I was gonna get like every sort of slap, shoe, spat, like in the face, like anything that was, like, her reaction was at it. Like, I was like, oh God, I didn't say that. I didn't say anything like that. I would never.
You're like, what have I done? Abort.
Like, we could not.
I would think of that story of your friend that was sleeping.
Oh my God. Yes, that was.
Tell it.
Well, she said something terrible, but like, she was sleeping and her mom was waking her up, and I guess, like, it was like, you know, not once, not twice, but multiple times. I'm assuming this was over a period of time and she just wanted to sleep. And she was like, in her sleep, she was like, shut the F up to her mom. But, like, you know, she was like, shut the F up.
My butt clenches listening to that.
And her mom was like, what? What did you say to me? And, I mean, she went nuts on her. But, I mean, she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Like, we could never forget saying shut the F up. We would never say shut up. We would never say, oh, you're so annoying. Or maybe, I mean, not directly to their face. Or
no, I just say it under my breath, like, you're so annoying. And that's like, if I say more than that, like, I feel guilty. Like, that's the most I can say under my breath is like, whatever, you're annoying.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't say it out too loudly.
Never be like, oh, you're so stupid. Oh my God. You say, like, oh, I don't even know what would happen. I don't even know how people get away saying that. But even if we said you're so annoying from, like, you know, a whole different room under our breath, they would hear it somehow, some way.
Yeah. I know my mom, like, I mean, you're saying that your mom would feel bad. My mom, I think it's because it's just 3 boys in the house, and my mom.
You guys tortured your mom too. It wasn't like you didn't make it. You made it hard for your mom.
She toughened to the point that she didn't care. She was just gonna like get, as long as she got the point across. That's all she wanted. Like,
and like, I've stayed at Summer and I both know, like, we've stayed at your guys' place, and your mom will be so nice. And, like, be like, Zan, and call you, like, 10 times. Like, can you please do this? Can you please do that? And you don't do it. And then she starts getting mad. And, like, she's like, Zan. Like, our mom wouldn't, like, she'd start yelling after, like, the 3rd time we wouldn't respond. Or if we were like, okay. Like, she'd be like, come on, do it. Your mom is so patient. But when she breaks.
Listen, I've even had Bichala break on me. So.
She's never yelled at me.
Bihala would, when I was young, I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat. And,
That's period. Yeah, she wouldn't
and
eat.
Bihala, by the way, is Zan's mom. That's what we call her. So what she would do, she used to live with us. This is before she got married. And
Before Zan was
she
in the
only lived with
picture.
us for maybe a year, maybe not even. And so clearly I was I mean, if Zan's not in the picture because this is pre-marriage, then you can imagine my age. But she would, because I wouldn't eat, and my dad would always be like, send Summer out. Like, send Summer out as in go out to eat with her. Like, if that's how she's gonna eat, because I guess I wouldn't eat home cooked meals. I would only eat like if we were out at a restaurant. And so because my dad would be like, oh, just go out with her and eat, he was just, he was like, just do what she wants. Bikhala would force my parents to go out on walks. And be like, go after dinner, go for a walk, do whatever. And they would go out for like walks for like 20 minutes. And in that time range, let's just say that all my food was done out of force, straight force by the time they come back in.
She'd like slap your face and your mouth would hang open and then she'd shove the food in your mouth.
Yep, the food in my mouth. If I even tried dry heaving or whatever, like if it was like kind of vomiting back out, she'd be like, if you even vomit that out, you'd be so afraid to vomit that you made sure you did it.
Look, you guys don't realize Summer would not eat unless they bought her food. She was so spoiled. He wanted like exclusively like restaurant food.
Yeah,
like French fries.
Yeah, like I didn't care where we were out to eat as long as it was out to eat. So it could have been pizza, burgers, Chinese. It could have been anything. I mean, I'm still kind of like that. I'm not anywhere as bad. I mean, it's not like I don't eat home cooked meals, but when I was younger, I just would not eat the food, and so my mom would make, and so it was mainly my dad who'd be like, "Oh, just take her out, and then she'll eat. At least she eats." That was his whole thing. Is like if she's not gonna eat at home and she eats out, at least she eats something then. Versus staying hungry. Whereas no, your mom made sure I ate home cooked meals and so basically force fed me.
I just think of like people like Bukim Margel. I feel like that was mom's philosophy.
Like either eat or die.
She's like, fine, you don't want to eat, then die.
Like then go hungry. Like
at least my mom was like, no, you're gonna eat no matter what happens. No, you could be dying, and I'm gonna give you food.
Yeah, oh, no. There's more love in that. I feel like there's more like hurt, like rejection when your mom's like, whatever, don't eat, I don't care. And you're like, huh?
You're like, okay,
you don't care if I live or die? They obviously do. Like, it's just out of pure anger.
Yeah. But I mean, not only that, you know what else they have with the sense of or their heightened senses is if you cleaned anything, and I mean, I think I have that now. Not I think I do, but if you drop anything, especially my mom, if you had dropped anything and you tried your best to clean it up,
even if it was a crumb of a cookie,
it's crumb. Like they would be like, they would know.
What is this?
They would know. They wouldn't even be home, and if you dropped like a tiny bit of a drink on the carpet or something, you dropped something on the carpet, you cleaned it up, you vacuumed or you did whatever, and we would get assurances from each other, be like, do you see that? Does that look okay?
Like, nah, dude, she won't notice.
Yeah, and then they come home, they're like, what happened here? And you're like, what do you mean? Like,
like what? And they're like, you don't lie to me. And you're like, like internal battle. You're like, should I stick with it? Should I stick with the lie?
Exactly.
Exactly. But then if you come clean that you did lie, and then you'll get
yeah, because it's like it's a double whammy at that point, double-edged sword. It's like if I speak the truth now, I'll get in trouble for not only dropping something, but also lying. But
my favorite thing now is like well, not now because I'm older now, and my mom does not like. After a certain age, they don't like threaten you. You know what I'm trying? They don't like. They're not like I'm gonna hit you. You know. So, but when I was at that age, but older, I like to like egg my mom on and be like, "Hit me, do it," and be like, "Come on!" And then she'd like go after me, and because I'm faster, I would dodge her.
That's
and get her
something
even more mad. But it'd be so like, it's like, what are you gonna do?
I know.
I think that's when our parents know that. Then that's like,
okay, we can't do it at this anymore.
Because the day that I was able to stop my mom from slapping me midway through the slap.
How did you like hold her hand?
I just held her hand. I just held her hand out. I'm like, boom. No, you're not slapping me. And she's like, the face that she had was like about. I thought she was just gonna like explode right there. Like, but she knew. She's like, I can't do anything anymore.
But then they changed their tactic. Then they're like, all right, physical force won't work. Then we're gonna guilt you.
Yeah, exactly.
The mental torture,
the emotional blackmail.
It's like fine. Physical punishment won't work, but we're gonna make you feel guilty as hell.
And they really do. They figure out how to make you feel the most guilty, like you're the worst.
Moms are the most
person in the world, and you're a terrible human being for not, listening to them or doing what they need or whatever. They really scar you. I'm scarred till this day, and I've been married 5 years. Like,
oh my God, she's literally married, and my mom like, you're not gonna come over? You're not gonna, And Summer was like, and I'm like, Summer, you are a married woman. Go live your life.
Exactly.
And she's like, but I'm like, no buts. If it wasn't for each other, like your siblings, we wouldn't be able to like stand up, I think.
No, I completely agree. Like I'm not joking. Just the other day, for example, it was like, oh, you're leaving? And I'm like, I've been home for 2 days now. I don't know. My husband's saying come home. Like, like.
I know. And then I'm like, Mom, she needs to have a life, like, apart from you.
Well,
and then it's
like, they don't.
We take one for the team. We basically, like, I'll start fighting with my mom so that Summer can slip out.
Yeah. Or like
and Summer will take one for the team. Like, if I'm like, I'm going out to a friend's or like going to sleep over somewhere, which is sleepovers are their own thing. Then like Summer will like, she'll like, don't worry about it. I'll talk to Mom.
Yeah.
And take one for the team.
Yeah. Like one time Amna was coming home really late from
for Boston.
Yeah, her friend. And it was like 2 a.m, and my mom was like, she's still not home. I'm like, don't worry about it, Mom. Just go back to sleep. She's probably just stuck in traffic or something.
At 2 a.m. No, I like the thing is like that day I'm like, Mom, I'm going, right?
And you have told her
I'm 22
to be late. No, mind you, this is actually like what 2 months ago. So
literally I'm 22. Okay, I'm like, Mom, I'm just I haven't like I don't go out like all the time. She doesn't. I'm very much like I will stay home with my mom. Like that's like it's kind of like my friends expect it at this point. So the fact that I was going to my friend's birthday in Boston, they were like, wow, this is a big deal. I'm like, I know. But I like stood up, I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go. I'm not sleeping over, don't worry, I'll come home because sleepovers are a no-no. I'm coming home, but I'm gonna be home late because I'm driving all the way back home from Boston. And she was, Summer was like there with her that night. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah, like we were like, well, you're not gonna be home alone. I'm coming home. Like, don't worry. Blah 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 blah. It just still was difficult.
Going back to the sleepovers thing, I've never had a sleepover ever. Not including like you guys, or not including like family friends of our moms and dads. Like I'm talking about like I've never been able to be like, hey, I'm gonna go to Jake's house. Can I go sleep over his place? Like how open it is for a lot of other people.
If I maybe got a chance to sleep over once for a birthday party, but that was it. Like sleepovers outside of like families or like very close desi friends' houses, like was a no-no.
I would allow sleepovers at our house.
Yes.
Like, if I wanted to have a friend over, they could be over to whatever time, because my mom was like, whatever, it's their parents' problem. But you're home. But going to other people's houses, like, I'm lucky that I'm like the youngest, because they like pioneered me being able to go do those things. But it wasn't very often that I would go and do it.
No.
It'd be like for a birthday or something.
Yeah, like birthday parties were like the only times I could have anybody sleep over, and that too, it was like maybe 2 girls max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think sleepovers growing up were more of a girl thing anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I would say so, yeah.
You know? Because I didn't hear about guys that were like, we're having a sleepover tonight.
I know there's just been times where I really wanted to stay over. I think, actually, now I take that back. There's probably one time that I slept over some other person's house, and that's pretty much it.
I think it was,
like
the idea of staying over, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but white people's homes. They just didn't trust anybody. Or non-desi people, I should say. Non-family, non-desi people. So it didn't matter if you were white or not. It was just mattered if you were...
I remember, so this was when I first moved to where I live, where my parents live now, right? In Massachusetts, right? We moved there. This was like 2001. And obviously, being a 4th grader at the time, I was like, new school, have to make new friends. So I made our new friend, right? We became great friends, and we're still friends to this day. And and I remember one day he goes, "Hey," and why don't we hang out at my place? Let's come over to my house after school, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Asked my mom, she said no, right? So I told him no, and this was week after week after week. He would always call me over and just be like, "Hey, Zane, just come over."
That's so
I'm like,
sad.
I can't do it. My mom says no, and I remember one day I had a huge argument with my mom about this reason. I was like, why? And she's like, I don't trust him. I'm like, okay. And I don't know why I did this at the time, and I'm surprised that he didn't take any offense to it at all at the time. But I remember calling him up with my mom on the other line. This was like, when we shared the same line, right? So on the other line, and I remember calling him up, being like, and asking him the most invasive questions in the world, being like, "Hey, so my mom," and I worded it so I would not get any of the blame, and I put all the blame on my mom. I was like, "My mom wants to know, is your dad a drunk?" and he goes, no. "Oh, not drunk, but like, is your dad likes to drink?" And he's like, yeah, he does, but not in front of like me. He's never drank in front of me. I'm like, okay, good. So your grandmother, will she be there at this time and this time? He's like, yeah. So all of these questions, just asking him, and I was so embarrassed asking all these questions, but this was the only way to get me into this guy's house, just so I can hang out with him.
That is so embarrassing.
It was bad.
Like, I think it's
it was so
when they
bad.
ask for numbers. They always ask for numbers. They're always like, give me this person's number. And you're like, oh my God, don't call these guys. Come on, please. Like,
oh, you know how many times? Even now, the day I went to Boston, guys.
I know.
She talked to my friend.
I know.
On the phone.
I know.
Nice.
But my friend, my closest friends, like my best friends, they know that that's going to happen. So they're like, okay, yeah, give it to your mom. Like, they're like, yeah, I'll talk to your mom. And they'll be like, yeah, no, everything will be great. She'll be with me the whole time. And I'm like, Mom, little do you know, I'm the most responsible one out of all of them.
It's the truth. It's the truth, I tell you.
I'm like, they're not watching me. I'm watching them. Like, so why do you need their reassurance? But we don't question it. Look, whatever works.
No.
Whatever gets you to have freedom.
It worked for me. I after that phone call, I was able to go to his house every other day. Then I was like,
why didn't he ever come over to your house?
He did. It was just the fact that I wanted to go to his place because he had the cool games and the cool toys that I didn't have. 4th grader stuff.
There's more freedom at the other person's house than it is at your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
To an extent.
No, it's just like you don't have to follow.
My mom left us alone. Like, we would go in the basement, and she wouldn't like.
She didn't.
Actually, I would get yelled at, but like they would know I'd be getting yelled at.
She would like yell from the top of the basement stairs and be like, "When are these people?" Like in our language, like, "When are these people going home?"
I know, and I'd be like, and I'd have to be like, "Mom," I'm like, "This is so awkward."
And she'd be like, "Oh, like replying back in our language." And clearly, I mean, you're not stupid. If you have to talk in another language, you're most likely talking shit about the people around you.
I know, and I'm like, why are you yelling? Like, I get so mad. Like, why are you yelling? It's so embarrassing.
I like how I like how the yelling is like their natural tone of voice when they speak the Urdu in front of other people. When you had people over, it's always like an angry tone to it. You're just like, oh my god, stop!
I know,
like,
seriously.
relax or chill out.
And God forbid, while hanging out with people, at least for me, God forbid, you were hanging out with the opposite sex.
Mm.
So hanging out with boys, like, is a no-no. A big no-no.
I was lucky, though, because all my guy friends were gay. Because I did theater. And so my mom at first was not good, like happy about it. And then she met my friend, one of my friends. And I'm like, she loosened up because she's like, yeah, these men are not a threat.
Yeah, basically she doesn't have a gaydar or anything like that. And she was like, no, you can tell.
Like one of my best friends is a guy, he's gay. And my mom loves him.
Yeah.
But, you know, it took a while for that to like occur. And even then, it's like I can have a guy like let's say like a friend like really needs a place to stay or sleep over or whatever. Even if they're gay, no, you can't sleep over our house. No guys.
No guys.
It's just a no.
Yeah, it's ditto for me. Just vice versa.
We just no hanging with the opposite gender. Don't even. I mean,
and then until you're of age. Then it's like go get married.
Not even that. That yes, okay, yes. But like even now, if like somebody goes in to give me a hug, I'm so awkwarded out. I always end up doing side hugs. I'm like,
No, we've been scarred in that sense. Like how our interactions are with the opposite sex, they're very like. How are you expecting us to go find someone when we are so awkward?
It is
from years of making us be awkward.
It's
like we've been primed to like avoid the opposite sex and like to like lust from afar, and then you want us to go and interact, and we're like,
you get nervous.
Hey.
It's nerve-wracking.
Nevis.
You get Nevis.
I'm Nevis. No, opposite sex is a no-no, and I think every desi knows that. Like that's an every desi, even in Pakistan. Like no.
Yeah, it's even more worse in Pakistan. It's like more taboo in Pakistan than it would be here.
Funny enough, though, in Pakistan we were given more freedom.
That is true. In fact, it would probably be the opposite, where we would be the more responsible people there. You know, following the rules and making sure, being courteous to other people and whatnot. And our moms would be the one that would just be like, "Oh my God, it's Pakistan shopping. Let's head out." And
it would be like I remember I got really sick. Do you remember this summer? Or were you there? I don't know, but I got really, really sick, like throwing up and everything. And my mom left me for the day to go shopping.
Oh, I don't think I was there during that time, but I remember that story.
Like she left. She's like, okay, well, nothing can be done if you're throwing up. You just gotta throw up. I'm gonna go shop. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
I mean, for God's sakes, when I got my knee injury in Pakistan that one time, freaking my mom left the next day to the mall.
You were in the hospital.
Yeah, like here I was in bedridden because I couldn't walk on my knee, and like I was like screaming in pain, waking up at like during the day, couldn't figure out what to do, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, just have some Tylenol and let me go quickly shop this one thing really quick." I'm like, "Okay."
Like I get it, like they're allowed to have their own lives and they don't have to like constantly watch us, but they do. 29 of the 30 days they're there or we're there. they're off doing their own thing. And the one day we're like, Mom, we really want you to like watch us. They don't compromise. They're like, no.
They're like,
No,
we
we're good.
literally don't have too much time here. So we want
That's
to
always
like,
their excuse.
yeah,
We
we
don't have
don't have
time
enough
here.
time.
I'm like, Mom, we have two suitcases full of new clothes. Like, that's, yeah, and
We only
We
come
need
once a
more.
year. We need to do this, and you're like,
you're like, yeah, but I literally have cholera. I have dysentery. Like, I need you to stay with me. I'm like 12 years old.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's nuts.
I remember like hanging out. I remember I'm going back. I remember a friend coming over and she slept over, which was like a big deal. And we walked to Blockbuster. Do you remember that, Sumra?
I do not actually remember that. I mean, I
Okay, well,
remember
Sabina
Blockbuster, and
does.
I remember completely where you guys were.
Okay,
Like,
but okay, so Blockbuster, Summer, how far of a walk was that?
walking. I mean, if you're a fast walker, walking maybe not even. I'm sorry. I mean, normal pace walking like 10 minutes.
It's literally down the road.
Like,
Okay,
so if you were in a car, it takes 2 minutes. Let's just, yeah.
not even, right? Like, it's very close. Okay, and my friend and I want to go get a movie, so we walked to Blockbuster.
What movie?
I don't remember. This is Blockbuster days. Like, I was in middle school, so who knows? But no, we went, we came back. The amount of yelling. My mom yelled at me so much. And mind you, I was like 15 years old. That's the thing. It wasn't like I was 11 or 12 and I went out by myself. I was like 15, 16 and walked down the road. And I got yelled at so badly. It was like basically complete to the max. I was like, it was terrible. I'm like getting flashbacks.
I wasn't allowed to cross the street until I was like 14 or 15. And I just want to point something out here to people. It's like, oh, you maybe live on a main road. No, we live off of a very small, A, we live in a very small town. But B, we live off of a small road in a small town. So it's not even like the main street of the town. And literally crossing the street is not even like 100 feet. It's like 50 feet. Not even 50
Not even. Okay, and we live across a
There's a
farm.
farm across the street.
A farm. So where is she going? That it's that big of a deal.
I literally wanted to go across the street to see the animals.
It's like, you know.
I mean, I got an extreme case where instead of walking with what in your case it was your friend, I was walking with our neighbor, who was also desi as well. So she knew, like, our families knew each other obviously, and they were best as friends. And one day I just remember the neighbor just being like, "Hey Zen, just come with me. Let's just go to this. Let's go to Dick's Sporting Goods," which was also literally down the street. So we walked there, and he was older. He was like, I don't remember how old he was, but he was older at the time. So, like, supervision. It was fine. He held my hand the entire time walking there. I was really young, so we walked there. We had fun. Came back, same thing. Just got a tongue lashing from my mom. Just like, why did you go? I'm like, well, I was with him, and she was like, it doesn't matter. You went by yourself. I'm like, no, I didn't go by myself though, Mom. Like, I was with someone else. Doesn't matter. You went. You left the house, and that was the worst thing that I could have done. I'm just like, oh boy, not good.
Oh God.
Nope, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty
Summer,
bad.
you tell the story where you went to the city.
When I went to the city,
To New York, and Mom cried.
basically, I think I was 17. I was 17. I went to the city with my friend, who was 16 at the time, and we told my older sister that we were going to New York. So at least somebody knew we were going to New York City. And I don't know what we thought. I think we thought we were going to have like the time of our lives because we were going to New York by ourselves on the train. And it was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Um, really, at the end of the day, all we did was kind of walk around Times Square and come home. We didn't even eat at like a fancy restaurant or like at some New York only restaurant. We went to like the Applebee's in Times Square, if I remember correctly. And so it's not like we even,
What a
yeah,
great
I know.
place.
It's not even like we really took advantage of not of being out and about in New York. We did absolutely nothing. We walked around Times Square, like I said. Like that's the honest to God truth. But we didn't know New York. We just it was a sense of we were going by ourselves and taking the train, and it was like that sense of independence. I don't know. But either way, so we told our moms that we would be going to the movies and going out to eat, and we were hoping that the movie and mall time, I'm sorry, mall, movies, and dinner. We were hoping that, that time would be enough to get us in and out of New York. Well, lo and behold, let's just say that they figured out we were not at the mall for the movies or
And instead,
What were you doing?
or dinner. We went straight to New York. So by the time I came home, um, my mom was like, and we had cell phones. I think this was like summer of me going into college. So mind you, that's when I got my cell phone. So I think it must have been summer going into college. I was still 17. So I I got home. I kept getting phone calls, and she was like, "I know you're not there. I know you're not. You're not telling me."
how did she
She's
find
just like,
out?
I don't know. I don't know. It's that heightened the heightened senses. They knew something was just not right. And so I came home, and she was like, I came home to literally her crying. And my sister knew, so my sister was like calling me too, like I'm not telling her, but she knows something's wrong. And I'm like, oh my God, like, oh boy. And and so we we got home, and she was like in my room crying, like, you lied, this, that. And I'm like, okay, this is what we went to New York and we did absolutely nothing. And that's it. We went to New York. And I'm like, it's because you don't let us go anywhere or do anything. And so we decided to just go to New York. And literally,
Right, right. Did you go to New
yeah.
York somewhere?
And so I'm like, we wanted to like do our own thing, and we're not allowed to do anything ever. And you know, after,
At the time, you think it's such a like revolutionary moment to like stand up to your mom.
yeah,
Nothing
nothing happened.
happens.
No, no,
Nothing
nothing changes.
changes.
And then she was like, she stopped crying. She was like, well, and this was like 11 o'clock, people. So it wasn't like we were home at 2 a.m. It was literally like maybe 11:30, the latest. Like it wasn't even. We made sure we were gonna be home before midnight. Let's just put it like that. So
Mhm.
it was like 11:30 maybe, and she was like, well, your dad's still up, so, and he's not happy and he's very angry, so you need to go talk to him. So I was like, oh no, like that I was afraid of. So I was like, oh no, I have to talk to my dad. And so I went up, and dad happened to be watching TV in our bonus room. So I went upstairs there, and I was like, dad, he's like, where'd you go? I was like, New York. He was like, okay, how'd you get there? Said, we took the train in. And he's like, you parked your car at Fairfield? And I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, well, did you even have fun? And I'm like, nah, we just did Times Square. He's like, all right, well, next time just tell us. I'm like, okay, like his
I know our moms want our dads to be like
bill.
angry. I feel like would your dad be angry?
My dad?
Yeah.
It depends on the sitch, but most of the time he wouldn't really mind it.
I mean, my dad was so chill about it. Like, he was just like, just let us know next time versus making up a whole story. My mom was like crying and like freaking out, whereas he was like, you know, that's fine.
I've like tried to stick up for myself lately and been like, Mom, I'm going. And she'll be like, huh. And she's like, I'm like, Mom, I'm going to be back late. And then I come back late and she still yells and cries at me. I'm like, Mom, I told you I'd be back.
Did you even have fun? That's a nice
Yeah.
thing.
I think that should be the name of the episode.
Did you even have fun?
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
Wow.
Yeah. And then I guess and on that note, it was a good way to end the podcast. Nice story, right?
Yeah, Summer, your sad story.
Well, it wasn't sad. It was funny. I mean, it wasn't sad. It was I got yelled at from my mom, and
nothing from
my dad, who I thought was going to yell at me as well.
Yep, seems about right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, follow us on Fob and Friends, and we probably are going to do like a sequel episode because we have so much more to talk about with this stuff. We really do. We didn't even hit like half of the stuff we wanted to talk about. That's because Zan's Nutso and the Butso article took over so much time.
Hey, you know.
He needed to make up for the terrible articles he brought up.
Listen, I still have those recordings, so maybe
you guys are lucky you can listen to our lost episode. And we'll post it up, and you guys will be like, wow, that was really actually a terrible episode.
Why did you guys post this?
It wasn't really that bad till the articles came in.
Look, it'll be a special feature. Follow us on Fob and Friends.
Fob and Friends, at Fob and Friends, Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Fob and Friends. And we have the website. Doesn't go to anything yet. It's 25 episodes in, still nothing with the
maybe
website.
When we get to 50.
Maybe. And then what else is there? And Fob and Friends podcast @gmail.com.
And rate us and review us on iTunes,
you're gonna
please.
Say something bad, then don't say anything at all.
Then keep it to yourself.
That's a lesson learned from everybody.
Yeah, treat yourself. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
If you have nothing nice to say, you don't say it at all.
Right. Alrighty then.
Alright.
See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.